Tonight, I ask you to set aside what you have heard from loud voices and walk quietly with me as a friend to the Republic. Let us face a hard question, one that finds its way not only into headlines, but into living rooms and children's dreams. It is this: who gets to call America home? And when does law, in seeking to draw lines, risk wounding the very heart it seeks to protect? These days, you may have heard of a rule from the Department of Housing, HUD, as they now call it. This would say that if any one person in a family is here without full papers, the entire family could be made to leave government-subsidized housing. It could mean a knock at the door, a notice given, a home lost, not only for the parent but for the child, even if he or she was born right here, an American by birth. Picture a small apartment building just before sunrise. A mother stands at the kitchen window, watching her son tie his shoes for school on a cold morning. She wonders if this will still be their home when spring comes. As your first president, I have watched this land change across 2 centuries, but I tell you, this is not the first time Americans have argued over who belongs or who must be turned away. History has seen this before. Some argue with reason, we have scarce resources. Should our government not first care for those who have followed the law at every step? There is weight to this question. There are long lines for public housing. Many wait year after year, hoping for a better home. Yet, as in all times of trial, the question is not simply what we can do, but what we must do if we wish to preserve both the letter and the spirit of American justice. Let me plainly name the facts as you deserve them. At this hour, about 24,000 persons, fathers, mothers, children, home themselves in subsidized apartments where perhaps one family member is not documented. Should the new rule take effect, nearly 80,000 could lose shelter, around half children born in this country, citizens like you or me. Think of a child in a school bus, sat with all his hopes in a backpack, watching houses pass by and not knowing if one of them will still be his tomorrow. Supporters of the rule speak of fairness. Government funds are limited. Only a quarter of the American families who seek help now get a roof paid for, in part by the public. Should we not help our own first? They ask. But there is another truth. Many families already pay more than their share, for if some members are not on the papers, the family is denied the full subsidy. Their rent, though, helps the housing system stand. Now, the rule asks not just for a paper check, but for proof. It tells local towns and cities you must check every resident, verify, report, remove if needed. It presses local offices, already strained, to do the work of immigration officers, not simply serve as helpers for housing the poor. Imagine a housing authority worker late at night, sitting under the glow of a desk lamp, sorting out papers, unsure if the right thing is the lawful thing, wondering about the faces he saw that day, old, young, hopeful, afraid. The law, as HUD sees it, bars federal support for those without documents, but groups who read the laws with care say HUD's proposal may go further than what Congress allows. We follow the law, they argue, but is this new rule more than the law allows? It is a question for courts, for Congress, for us as a free people. There is another fear, one that settles in places where the heart stands guard. That fear is for the children, the innocents. Many of those faced with removal are U.S. citizens by every test. Should they be sent away with their parents? Or left behind, separated, perhaps raised by strangers or forced into other hands? Imagine a family gathered around a worn kitchen table as twilight settles. A father folds his hands, not knowing how to answer when his daughter asks, "Will we still be together next month?" This much we know. The proposal calls for a time of public comment, a hearing of voices before the rule may take hold. And it is right, in a republic, for the people to be heard before a weighty step is taken. Those who remember the past know a rule much like this was set aside years ago, debated long, then left laying by a later administration. So history has seen this before, and so too it may again. I hear the arguments of those who wish to keep tight to the rules, to see every dollar help those owed its use by law. I do not dismiss that voice, yet I must ask all Americans, what is the true aim of our laws? Are they made simply to keep numbers sound, or do they live to keep the spirit of our country from hardening? Walk down any city street at dusk. You will see families pressing against the wind, seeking not gold, but light and warmth and the hope of tomorrow. This is not a question for fine chambers alone. It is a question for us, for every hand that votes, every voice that is raised. When the government is told to report, exclude, to treat each apartment as a border, does it make us safer, better, more secure? Or does it make our trust in each other smaller, our faith in ourselves more fragile? Not all news is black and white. There is an old wisdom in our republic that power, even when held for the public good, must remember its limits. No rule, no policy should grow so great that it forgets the faces of the people it touches. See, in your mind's eye, a line of anxious parents outside a housing office at noon. They hold folders, hope, and worry in equal measure. We are told that the laws must be applied. It is true, our strength is found in respecting the rules we give ourselves. But I caution, as I did in seasons past, that the measure of a nation is not merely in its firmness, but in its fairness and its mercy. Let us walk a little further down this road together. Consider, a single rule passed in a hurry can work hardship not only for those at the margins, but for the very spirit of our communities. Think of a teacher in a busy classroom, noticing a student who no longer laughs as often, whose gaze drifts out the window, worrying about where he will sleep. Laws shaped in Washington do not end there. They reach down into real homes, real lives, and they teach our children what America values. We must stop and ask, what are we teaching by our example? Are we saying that a child's place in our national story can be taken away, not for something they did, but because of what papers their parents hold? Picture a playground on a cool afternoon. Children chase each other between swings and slides, their laughter carried on autumn air. In their games, there are no questions of country of birth, only who can run fastest, who gets the next turn. When government steps in, drawing sharp lines, it can bring grown-up fears into childhood joy. Americans are, and have always been, a practical people. We know hardship. We have faced famine, war, and long winters. We understand the need to balance our ledger. Resources are not endless. But long ago, this nation decided that children above all deserve shelter and a chance. Let me share a small lesson from the fields I once walked as a farmer. When the late frost comes, you do not pick and choose which seedlings to cover. You cover as many as you can, knowing the strong crop will help all your neighbors eat, come summer. Mercy feeds strength. Looking at this new rule, good people on all sides see hard things. Some worry that our generosity will be used up, that the system will strain, and those waiting lawfully will be pushed aside. But many also see families, already working, paying rent, hoping for stability, now thrust into uncertainty, though some members bear every right to be here. When the question grows as fraught as this, I find it helps to return to old truths. Our founders set out to create a more perfect union, not a perfect one, but a better one each day. They understood that unity, America's strength, is not only found in sameness, but in shared commitment to fairness, to inclusion, to holding the center in seasons of change. Walk with me in your mind to a town council meeting, voices sometimes raised but faces earnest, gathered to ask, how do we serve both justice and mercy? Some there have waited years for housing help. Others speak for neighbors about to lose their homes. The room is tense, yet hope sits in every chair, hope that the right answer might honor both law and humanity. America is not perfect, nor is any law. But each time we draw a new line, we are called to look past numbers and consider the hearts behind them. The little ones sleeping in these homes tonight, many born beneath our flag, will grow into citizens and voters. How we treat them now will echo in the country they build one day. Picture a public library on a rainy morning. A mother guides her children between rows of books, their coats still damp. She helps her daughter practice reading while glancing now and then toward the door, as if half expecting bad news. The smallest acts of daily life, going to school, borrowing a book, having a place for supper, should not be shadowed by fear. There is no weakness in compassion. The true test of a republic is not its power, but how it wields that power in days of doubt. When the public is asked to comment, to speak before the law is final, it is a chance not just for policy, but for public virtue. Voices rise, sometimes with anger, sometimes with concern, but always as part of America's ongoing argument with itself. How do we keep faith with our ideals while still protecting the common good? Let us not miss how this question stretches beyond party or place or present moment. Across the years, we have denied, then welcomed, excluded, then embraced. Such debates are old as the nation itself. History has seen this before. In every age, Americans have had to decide, who do we become when the future feels uncertain? Do we close our fists or open our arms? The answer has rarely been all or nothing. It has been found in compromise, in debate, in the hard work of remembering that, though we do not agree on everything, we share one country. Our laws must both protect and uplift. They must honor the letter and the spirit of American justice. See a courthouse just after dusk. Advocates, parents, and officials step out into lamplight, each carrying folders, some with hope and some with heavy hearts. Few have all the answers, but all know that the choice before them is larger than policy. It is about the character of their town, their nation. Let me be plain. Rules and boundaries matter. A republic cannot last if it does not know its own mind or respect the laws it gives itself. But rules must be crafted with care, measured against their impact. They must always leave room for reconsideration and reform. That is the genius of America, our ability to change course, to correct, to listen again if new voices speak with wisdom. So citizens, as you hear debate about this policy, as you listen to news or speak with neighbors, I urge you, resist the call to easy judgment. Ask not only who deserves help, but what kind of future you wish to see. Do not let fear make your vision smaller than it need be. A wise farmer knows a hard winter will come sooner or later. The farmer plans ahead, yes, but he also relies on the help of his neighbor and gives help in return. That is the American way, the steady hand, the generous heart, the long view across seasons. Picture a main street at sunset. American flags on storefronts, the postman finishing his rounds, shopkeepers locking doors, families heading home for dinner. Some of those homes sit on the edge. One unwelcome letter, one new rule could change everything. Yet the street is quiet, the trust between neighbors still holding day by day. Remember what binds us, not only shared problems, but shared hopes. We are a country built on the idea that tomorrow can be made better through reason, effort, and kindness. Of course, some say we must not allow abuse of our system. Each spot in public housing should go to those who obey the law. There is truth here as well. The challenge for a republic is this: how to honor the rules without making them a set of chains. Law offers order. Mercy preserves unity. Americans will have different answers. A town on the border may see this problem differently than one in the Midwest. A city with long wait lists may feel a sharper pinch than a small town. Yet, if I have learned anything, it is this: true citizenship is not measured by the ease of our times, but by what we do when the questions are hard. So let us gather up our courage. Let us take to heart the lesson that not all news is black and white. Sometimes wisdom is found in simple acts, listening, pausing, hearing the stories that lie behind the statistics. I remember well, after the revolution, how weary our country was, how ready to fracture, to split into regions or parties. But we did not. Instead, we forged a more perfect union by agreeing to disagree, to strive together, to keep the lines of fellowship open. Imagine a family at the dinner table late on a Friday, tired but together, sharing worries and laughter over a pot of stew, hoping, like all Americans, for safety, for a future, for the feeling that the country sees them as neighbors, not strangers. Our national story is still being written every day in homes like these. Let the debates in high office be guided by facts, but also by conscience. Let us honor lawful order, yet remember the purpose beneath it, a chance for all who belong by birth or by honest striving to build a life under our flag. America's strength is her unity. We are one people, however many our branches. In closing, I ask you not for anger nor easy comfort, but for steadiness. This is the duty of citizens, a calling higher than any party, deeper than any law or rule. To look past panic, to weigh costs and conscience together, to remember that the Republic can be saved whenever we choose principle over passion and hope over fear. One day soon, the public comment will close, the rule will be decided, and lives will be changed. But our responsibility, as voters, as neighbors, as Americans, will remain. Will you choose to let worry divide your heart from your neighbors? Or will you help write the next page in our common story, a page marked by fairness, by mercy, and by a belief in one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all? This is our test and our promise. What kind of country do you want to hand down to your children and to theirs?